us pray first.
Lead me, Lord. Lead me by the hand and help me face the rising sun.
Miss Secretary, do we have any absences for today? It's good that there is none. Before we begin our lesson for today, let us have a paired activity first. Choose a partner. With your partner, you have to create a semantic web containing what you know about Africa and their literature. You will be provided with some useful expressions when asking, after which you have to present it in front. You will be given 5 minutes to do so. The following helpful expressions will be flashed in your screens. Now that you are done, let us have the first pair first. Kindly share your answers in front. Thank you. Now let's have the second pair. Very well said. I am pleased that you are able to finish the given task. You have brilliant minds for sharing what you know about Africa. So based on the activity you did a while ago, do you have any idea what is our lessons for today? Anyone? Yes, you are right. Our topic for today has something to do with African literature. We will be talking about African literature, literary genre, specifically short story and folk tales. I have a question. Do you have any idea how literature affects your ways of learning? Literature influences us and makes us understand the every walk of life. I have here an African literature entitled The Hands of the Blacks. All you have to do is you read it and then identify what is its genre. It is an excerpt of the story We Killed the Mangy Dog. It is a story where it seeks to find out answer to the question about African people. I have here another example, but before that, you will be watching a video about a story entitled A Story, A Story.
A story, a story. We do not really mean that what we are about to say is true. A story, a story. Let it come, let it go. Once there were no stories on earth to hear. All the stories belong to Niame, the sky god. He kept them in a golden box next to his royal stool. And Nancy, the Spider-Man, wanted to buy the sky god's stories. So he spun a web up to the sky. When the sky god heard what Nancy wanted, he laughed. The price of my stories is that you bring me Osebo, the leopard of the terrible teeth, Mboro, the hornet who stings like fire, and Mwatia, the fairy whom men never see. Anansi bowed and answered, I shall gladly pay the price. Chuckled the sky god. How can a weak old man like you, so small, so small, so small, pay my price? Anansi ran along the jungle path, yirdi, 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 till he came to Osebo, the leopard of the terrible teeth. Oh-ho, Anansi, said the leopard. You are just in time to be my lunch. Anansi replied, As for that, what will happen, will happen. But first let us play the binding game. The leopard, who was fond of games, asked, How is it played? With vine creepers, explained Anansi. I will bind you by your foot and foot. Then I will untie you, and you can tie me up. Very well, growled the leopard, who planned to eat Anansi as soon as it was his turn to bind him. So Anansi tied the leopard by his foot, by his foot, by his foot, by his foot with a vine creeper. Then he said, Now, Osebo, you are ready to meet the sky god. Next, Anansi cut a frond from a banana tree and filled a calabash with water. It crept through the tall grasses, Sora, 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 till it came to the nest of Mboro, the hornets who sting like fire. Anansi held the banana leaf over his head as an umbrella. Then he poured some of the water in the calabash over his head. The rest he emptied over the hornet's nest and cried, It is raining, raining, raining. Should you not fly into my calabash so that the rain will not tatter your wings? Thank you, hummed the hornets, and they flew into the calabash. Thump! Anansi quickly stopped the mouth of the gourd. Now, Mboro, you are ready to meet the sky god. Anansi now carved a little wooden doll holding a bowl. He covered the doll from top to bottom with sticky latex gum. Then he filled the doll's bowl with pounded yams. He set the little doll at the foot of a flamboyant tree where fairies like to dance. In a little while, Mwatia, the fairy who no man sees, came dancing, dancing, dancing to the foot of the flamboyant tree. Mwatia said, Come, baby, I am hungry. May I eat some of your yams? Thank you, Gum Baby, said the fairy. Don't you reply when I thank you, cried the angry fairy. Gum Baby, I'll slap your crying place unless you answer me. Pah! A hand stuck fast to the Gum Baby's sticky cheek. Let go of my hand or I'll slap you again. Pa! Now the fairy was stuck to the gum baby with both hands, and she was furious. She pushed against the doll with her feet, and they also stuck fast. Now Anansi came out of hiding. You are ready to meet the sky god, Moatia. Anansi spun a web round Osebo, Umboro, and Umatia. Then he spun a web up to the sky. Oh, Niame, said Anansi, bowing low. Here is the price you ask for your stories. Osebo, the leopard of the terrible teeth. Umboro, the hornets who sting like fire. And Moatia, the fairy who men never see. Little Anansi, the Spider-Man, has paid me the price I ask for my stories. Sing his praise, I command you. Shouted all the assembled nobles. From this day, and going on forever, proclaimed the sky god, my stories belong to Anansi, and shall be called Spider Stories. So Anansi took the golden box of stories back to Earth. And when he opened the box, all the stories scattered to the corners of the world, including this one. This is my story, which I have related. If it be sweet, or if it be not sweet, take some elsewhere, and let some come back to me.
So, what do you think is its genre? Yes, indeed, it is a folktale. Now, what is a story? A story is a narrative, a tale, that is of any account of a series of related events or experiences, whether fictional or non-fictional. That is why The Hands of the Black is considered a story, because it talks about an experience that is fictional. Since you are done reading the story The Hands of the Black, what can you say about it? Upon reading the selection, we know some information why the palms of the Black is whiter than the rest of their body. However, those explanations coming from different people in the story are not true. Actually, the answer to the question of why the hands of the Black is lighter than the rest of their body is because it contains less melanin than the rest of their body. Melanin protects our skin from the direct heat of the sun. Now, have you learned something about African people? That is good to know that you have learned a lot. Let us proceed to the folktales. Folktales are stories in the oral tradition. It is a tale that people tell each other out loud, rather than stories in written form. The video you have watched ago, entitled A Story, is an example of folktale originated in Africa, where it is characteristically anonymous, timeless, and placeless. Tale circulated orally among people. Today, we are able to define literary genre, such as story and folktales. Do you have any questions or clarifications regarding the said topic? Okay, so none so far. Class, always remember that when appreciating a literary piece, always observe the proper expressions when asking. Well done, students! Thank you for actively participating in our discussion. Now let's have a short activity before you do the quiz. Using the semantic web and the same pair that you have, write your thoughts and ideas about the topic that we have discussed a while ago. Now class, remember the things that we have discussed today because that would be included in the upcoming final exam. Now, before we end, let's have a last activity. Write something that comes into your minds when you hear the words Africa, literature, story, folktales, and lastly, genre. And for the assignment, it will be posted in your group chat. You can now go home. Thank you, and that would be all.